Oh, this is Mr. Hornsby 3. This is the Mr. Hornsby 3 show, and today I am doing a video talking about why I think Pet Sematary 2 is underrated. I'm also going to talk about the first Pet Sematary movie. I'm also going to talk about the real villains in Pet Sematary 2 and the real villains in Pet Sematary 1. So it's pretty much a Pet Sematary video today, and I want to talk about it because, you know, hey, it is what it is. I like the Pet Sematary movies. 1 and 2 are pretty good, but 2 gets a lot of criticism, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Let me open up this freaking Coke Duel so I can show off the Freddy Krueger can holder. But anyway, so let's get into it. Pet Sematary 2. Now, this movie came out, I think it was like 3 years after the first one. It's like, the first one came out like 1989, which was about, let's see, I was about 5 or 6 years old in 1989. Second one came out in the early 90s. I think it came out not too long after Terminator 2 because it had Edward Furlong in it. And Edward Furlong is kind of the main character of the movie, but you know, it's also got his dad and, you know, his mom, a character named Gus, his friend Drew, and a lot of other stuff. But I'm going to talk about why I think this movie is underrated, because honestly, I'll be honest with you, Pet Sematary 1, I like it. I think it's good. It's a good cult classic. It's a good movie and all that. But I think Pet Sematary 2 is a little bit better. And a lot of that has to do with frickin' Clancy Brown's performance as Gus in the movie. Because Gus is one of the main reasons why this movie is so good. Because I hear so many people bash the movie, but they all say, you know, that Clancy Brown brings his A game for the movie. Honestly, in my opinion, a lot of characters in the first Pet Sematary movie outside of Gage, when he becomes a zombie, are kind of boring and kind of, you know, I don't know, kind of boring and kind of annoying if you, I mean, look at Gage's sister. She's kind of annoying throughout the whole movie. Ellie. And Louis Creed, he's boring. His mom, she's boring, even though she's played by freaking a chick that was in Star Trek Next Generation as what was her name? Freaking Yard. Yeah, I know her. Tasha Yard. Played Tasha Yard in Star Trek: The Next Generation, but it's kind of boring in here. I mean, yeah, the family, they look like a typical happy family and all that, but the characters are kind of boring. And I think the dog is more interesting than the frickin' cat in Pet Sematary, because what's the most terrifying thing the frickin' cat does in the movie? Oh, throws a mouse into the water with frickin' Lewis, when Lewis is there by himself at church. On the other hand, you got Zally, who frickin' kills frickin' Gus, which is Clancy Brown's character. Then he turns on Drew. And honestly, I find Zally more entertaining than I found frickin'. Not only does Zally go on a rampage killing Gus, turning on Drew, he also kills a bunch of little kittens in the movie. Just for the hell of it. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna kill these damn cats. Little baby kittens that was in Jeff's dad's veterinarian place. Now, the premise of Pet Sematary 2 is Jeff and his dad just lost his mom, who was a Hollywood actress in the movie. Was a big Hollywood actress in the movie. But she gets killed at the beginning. And, you know, his parents were split up for some reason. I don't know why. But, you know, I don't know. I'll talk about that in a minute. Maybe later on I'll talk about probably why his parents were split up. But, so Jeff, he's goes through half the movie depressed. He also gets bullied. There's a bully in here who's kind of, in a way, or sometimes is kind of a bully to him. And in a way, just kind of buddy with him. It's like, dude. It's like, it's more like he's not bullying, he's just being sarcastic with him, it seems like. Like, you know, at the beginning, he takes his cat Tiger, the little kitten that he found at a veterinary place, and his dad lets him keep it. But, you know, outside of that, he, you know, except for right, like, toward the end when he nearly freaking kills Jeff with his bike, he's like freaking spinning the wheel, and he's gonna put his face into the freaking wheel while it was spinning, the metal part between the middle part of the tire. So yeah, well, for Gus saving Jeff, Jeff probably would have been dead. Outside of that, I mean, it really doesn't do too much that indicates a bully. I mean, he does look like he's a psycho killer. I mean, he is trying to kill Jeff with his own bike until Gus shows up. But anyway, so I guess Jeff feels like he could trust Gus on that. And this is after Gus has been killed and Gus has been acting crazy. Gus also, you know, forced himself onto Drew's mom later on in the movie after he comes back from the dead. Forces himself onto Drew's mom. She tells him to stop, but he keeps going. And, I'll tell you what, Gus is like a terrible, evil villain. And, you know, he's kind of like, you know, kind of in a way, kind of plays the character the way Robert Englund played Freddy Krueger in the later Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Like, you know, with more comedy, you know, all psychotic and all that stuff. Like, he really enjoyed what he was doing. Which is why I'll talk about why I don't think they should have freaking paid a tribute to Gus at the end of the movie. Because, yeah, Drew and Amanda didn't deserve what they got. But, Gus should not have got a freaking tribute at all. Because he was a terrible person when he was alive. And he's a terrible person when he's dead. Because he's the one that freaking killed Zowie. Which causes freaking Drew to bury Zowie in the pet cemetery. After Drew tells Jeff, oh, that's just an urban legend, but then he still takes Zowie up there and buries him in the same gravesite that Lewis buried Gage and frickin' his wife and, you know, the cat Church. And then they have to bury Gus there because Gus looked like he was about to kill Drew, so frickin' Zowie attacks him and kills him. But honestly, you know, a lot of people say, well, you know, first one's more superior, the story's better, blah, 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 blah. Actually, I think the frickin' second one is more entertaining than the first one. And I think a lot of people give it a lot of hate because, yeah, although the first Pet Sematary is a great movie and all, there's a lot about it. You know, one of the creepiest things, also creepy, man, that's creepy that a frickin' zombie dog would tear your neck wide open. And not to mention how creepy Gus is at the end of the frickin' movie. And not only that, he forced himself onto Drew's mom. I have to say forced because I don't think we're allowed to say the R word on YouTube, no matter if we have it for kids or not. So I'm not going to use the R word. People will know what the R word is. But yeah, forced himself on Drew's mom later on in the movie. But yeah, I mean, I think Clancy Brown way more entertaining than all the other characters in the movie. The creepiest thing about the first Pet Sematary movie is frickin' Rachel's sister, Zella. But she's the creepiest thing about that movie, because, you know, really, I mean, how was Gage? Yeah, I know he's got superpowers in that, because he frickin' was able to kill his mom, he was able to kill the frickin' Judd. He was able to kill a couple other people, but honestly, you know, when they killed Gage the second time, I kind of felt sad because, you know, he puts the needle in him and he's like, yeah, no fair, Daddy, no fair, no fair, no fair. When Gus dies, he just freaking, he's taunting Jeff's dad before he freaking dies and everything because apparently before freaking Jeff's dad got with his mom, apparently Gus at some point hooked up with the frickin' Jeff's mom. But And I think that I like the fact they built up to bringing back Jeff's mom a lot differently than they did in the first one. The first one, you know, you get the cat church brought back. Then after the cat gets brought back, Gage gets ran over by, which is one of the saddest freaking moments in a horror movie ever, man. I'll tell you what, that spot where Gage freaking gets ran over by the truck and then Lewis is just screaming and there's flashbacks of from when Gage was born to freaking, to the point before he died. I'm like, man, that's sad. Really sad. I mean, shoot. But then he brings it back, and again, like I said, when they kill Gage the second time, kind of sad too. With Church, it's like, well, you know, you can't be too sad. The freaking cat was already freaking ran over. And the thing is, an inconsistency in the movie was, you know, Judd told Lewis that if he got freaking Church neutered, that Church would not freaking, wouldn't get curious to go in the street and get ran over by the truck. And then even after they got him neutered, he still went in the street and got ran over by a truck. So that made no freaking sense. And Zowie, the dog, he gets killed because he freaking was messing with some stupid rabbits that belonged to Gus. So, yeah. But yeah, you know, you see, the first one, it makes you feel sympathy for some of the villains. Like little Gage, when he dies the second time, he's like, no fair, Daddy, no fair, no fair. That's pretty sad. And, you know, not only that, Gage is a little kid. How the hell could he be that strong as a little kid? You know, with Gus, he's a grown man. Pretty fit man, too. I mean, he's not freaking jacked up, muscled up, but he's not freaking fat and out of shape either. So, yeah, I'd be more terrified of freaking Gus than I would Gage. Because Gus is a psychopath who's a grown man, and Gage is just a little kid. So, yeah, you choose. I mean, heck, yeah, I know the demon spirit gets in him, but heck, how much stronger can a demon spirit make a little kid that's only like, what, 3 or 4 years old in the movie? When you got a grown man, probably between somewhere in his, you know, 30s and early 40s, and then you got the freaking little kid who's freaking pretty, you know, I don't know. But I think Pet Sematary 2 definitely better than the first one. I like the first one too. I think it's great. The remakes they made sucked. Both ones. I didn't even watch the second remake they made. But, you know, I did watch the freaking first remake, which was just so stupid. I mean, I'm like, and then the new one, I forgot what thing they put on it. I don't know if it was on Tubi, Hulu, or something like that. They had the newer one. I never watched it. I'm like, yeah. I like the original too. Those two are the best. But I think 2's better than 1. Mainly because Gus is, 1, a more terrifying character. 2, he's a frickin' dog. He's also got the dog on his side by the end of the movie. And, you know, I mean, and not to mention, let's get to the point where the final act of both movies, you know. So, Lewis beats Gage, but Gage already killed his mom. He killed Rachel. While Ellie's with her grandparents. So, after that, we then see that Lewis decides to try to frickin' revive Rachel as well. Which doesn't end too well with him, and the guy Pascal tries to frickin' let him know, like, hey, don't do this. You just saw what happened with Gage. You just saw what happened with Church, and you're going to do it again? He's like, well, with Gage, I waited too long. This time, I think it'll work. I think Rachel will come back to me as normal. Yeah, she came back to you as normal because you got your damn head chopped off at the end of the movie. Now, they cut the black before you know, but you know she was cutting his head off. Come on now. They even mentioned it in the second movie. They also, I guess, said that Ellie went crazy, and she killed her grandparents. And then the second time they killed Rachel. I don't know. So they kind of talked about it in their second movie. But yeah, I'd be more terrified of Gus than I would. It's kind of like frickin' Robert De Niro's character in frickin' Cape Fear, which I just watched about a week or so ago on frickin' BBC. Yeah, Gus, like I say, he was a terrible person before. Him and Drew had this issue. I mean, he was good to Drew's mom, possibly, but he treated Drew like crap. And, you know, especially shooting Drew's dog. I mean, he just shot him just because he messed with the rabbits. Even though he's got a thing that'll electrocute the thing if he tries to mess with the rabbits. Which Gus ends up killing anyway when he's a zombie. So, yeah. So, yeah, Lewis takes down Gage. He brings back Rachel. He gets killed by Rachel at the end. And Jeff's dad goes and takes on frickin' Dutch because the frickin' grave tender, the guy that frickin' checks after the graveyard, he saw that Gus came through, took frickin' Jeff's mom out of the frickin' thing, and ran right through Amanda and Drew's tombstone. This guy got a tribute at the end of the movie. That character should not have got a tribute. They should have showed the innocent people that got killed, not the terrible people getting killed. Like the freaking girl that I guess was with his dad, but then his mom kills her for no reason. They even show a freaking tribute to the freaking bully who was probably the other villain in the movie. Yeah, I mean, come on now. But anyway, I think Pet Sematary 2 is better. I enjoyed Pet Sematary 2 better. I thought the first one was a little boring, and you know, but this is my opinion. I know a lot of people love the first one. I thought it was kind of boring and bland up until they got to the point where Gage started killing people. Then it got interesting, but yeah, you know. Outside of that, with freaking Pet Sematary 2, I like that one better. I know people may not agree with me on that, but hey, it's my opinion. You got your opinion, I got my opinion. You know, so, yeah, I think it, you know, yes, did the first one have a better story? Yeah. Did the first one have more emotional gut punches in your stomach? Yes. But the first one knew what it was, and they freaking took advantage of it. It's kind of like how it's kind of like how Predator 2 is underrated. I think people, you know, completely disrespect Predator 2, but they can give crap like Predators and The Predator a freaking good praise. Even Prey got better praise than Predator 2, but, you know, I think Predator 1's good, then Predator 2, then Prey. Then after that, I'd probably go with The Predator and then Predators. But, you know what? And the Alien vs. Predator movies. But you could also put that in the Alien franchise as well, so, yeah. But, yeah, I think frickin' Pet Sematary 2 is underrated. And, you know, at the end, they do tease a possible 3, but we never got a part 3 because critics and fans were like, oh, this movie's not as good as the original. You know, it would be original if people actually had their own opinion about things. Now, instead of listening to what the frickin' critics say. How many movies have the critics bashed that have went on to go and be cult classics? Like Predator. I watched a Cisco and Ebert review of Predator, and they totally disrespected, said it was an alien ripoff and everything. Bashed all the characters in it. And frickin' guess what? Predator is one of the most popular movies ever. Nightmare on Elm Street probably got bashed by the critics. Guess what? One of the biggest horror franchises of the big four out there. Let's see. Friday the 13th got bashed by critics. Guess what? One of the most popular franchises, part of the big four in horror. So a lot of good movies have got bashed by critics that have gone on to be popular. Predator 2, I see a lot more people are having a cult following behind Predator 2. Maybe a lot of it has to do with my video. Maybe a lot of people's opinions were changing. because they knew the movie was better than people thought. You know, when it originally came out. Because when I hear people say, oh, it's just a movie of its time, of the early 90s, blah, 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 blah. That's all they say, blah, blah, blah. That's all I hear when I hear them say gibberish like that. It was a product of its time. It's like the freaking adult who talks, but sounds like they're saying a bunch of gibberish, like off of Charlie Brown. Anyway. So let's get into the real villains of these two movies. Yes, freaking Gus is one. You know, Gus is considered the main villain of it, and Zowie, and then Jeff's mom. And then in the freaking first one, it's Rachel's sister, Gage, and Church. But the real villains are, first off, Pascal. Pascal was played up like he was trying to help Louis Creed, but you know what? Until Louis Creed kept getting messages from frickin' Pascal about things while he was sleeping in that, nothing bad happened until after Pascal came in frickin' Louis Creed's life. Because Church was still alive, Gage was still alive, Louis's wife was still alive, but Pascal was one of the real villain of Pet Sematary. Along with, after that, I'm going to go with Judd, because Judd knew what had happened in the Pet Sematary, and he still let Louis take Church up there, and then he still let Louis take Gage up there, instead of trying to stop him. And it was him who told Louis, well, you know, Ellie don't have to lose her cat. We could take him up to the Pet Sematary. So, yeah. And then Louis Creed, after you saw what happened with Church, after you saw what happened with Gage, then you stupidly go do the same thing with your wife. And guess what? It cost you your life at the end. Which Judd also gets killed as well in the movie. So, yeah. So, those are the real villains of Pet Sematary Part 1 is Pascal. Because nothing bad happened to Louis until Pascal came in his life. Judd. And then Louis Creed himself. Now, the main villains of Pet Sematary 2. Yes, it's supposed to be Gus. It's supposed to be Jeff's mom. It's supposed to be the bully. But the real villains are Jeff and Drew. Because they went up there and frickin' buried Zowie up there. And then Zowie went and killed frickin' Gus, so they had to bury Gus up there. And I'm going to go with Jeff's dad, because had he worked things out with Jeff's mom, maybe Jeff's mom wouldn't have been so bitter when she came back to life. So those are the three real villains of frickin' Pet Sematary 2. Drew and Jeff, because they went up and buried Zowie. And then Jeff's dad for not fixing things with Jeff and his mom. Or not, you know, paying more attention to Jeff in the movie. But anyway, like I said, at the end of Part 2, they did set up a Part 3, but we never got a Part 3, unfortunately, so, yeah. Maybe they would have added the Wendigo thing, which was supposed to be in the first one, and I think they did introduce the Wendigo thing in the remake, but the remake was so stupid I can't tolerate it, so, yeah. But, anyway, that'll do it for this video. Now it's time for me to sell out, you know, sell my soul to get money from YouTube. By plugging my fake Patreon page. By plugging my fake sponsors. But you know what? Nah, I'm just being silly. And I should have done that earlier in the video, but, I know. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of Pet Sematary 2. Do you think Pet Sematary 2 is underrated? And do you, like me, think it's better than the first one? Or do you think I'm just crazy? And you think the first one's the best? I get these people all the time. When it comes to movies with sequels and that, every single time, you can tell they're not a real horror fan, because they always say, Well, the first one was the best. The rest I don't care for. Well, then that means you weren't a fan. Because, you know, people said Nightmare on Elm Street first one. That was the best one. The rest I didn't care for. Same things happened with Friday the 13th. The first one was the best one. I don't care for the rest. Halloween. First one was the best one. I don't care for the rest. Although those movies have had sequels that maybe even been better than the original one. I mean, look at Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Come on now. That was way better than Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. And I love Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. You know, Friday the 13th, Part 6 is like one of the most popular Friday the 13th sequels. Halloween 4. A lot of people love Halloween 4. You know, I'd say the only franchise that probably don't... you could say the first one is the best. That would be correct. Would be Texas Chainsaw. But then again, Part 2 is pretty good. And even maybe a little bit better than the first one. Same with sematary2. But all the rest of Texas Chainsaws after that are not that good. And I won't watch no more than 1 and 2 of the Texas Chainsaw movies. I'll watch 1. I'll watch 2. But I will not watch any ones after that. I've seen 3 before. Wasn't that good. I've seen the one with Matthew McConaughey. And, what's her name? I can't think of her name. I've seen those. They got some good moments to them, but they're not as good as the first 2. Yeah. Phantasm. They've had an up and down franchise. Hellraiser. I actually like more than just a few of the Hellraiser sequels. Yeah, but anyway. Chucky movies / Child's Play. 2, of course, is my favorite. Used to be 3, but, you know, I feel like 2 is way better. And plus, you know, you know. But, you know. I've said you know like 3 times straight. But yeah, let me know in the comments, like this video, subscribe for more. Follow my Facebook fan page, Mr. Hornsby 83 Show. Except for this past weekend, I always post up on Sunday what I got planned for the week. Follow my Trigen Toys business page. I will be posting up some new stuff I just picked up not too long ago. And I posted up some of the most recent stuff I picked up a while back. Not too long ago. Anyway, go check out my freaking build to the Halloween figure Havoc. I've done 2 videos. I did last week and I did this week. Go check out my video Monday. I paid a tribute to a friend of mine. Yeah. Check out this one. But anyway, that'll do it. Catch you guys later. Peace out.